Hey guys, it's Will here, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, as you can see, I've got my Scythes of the Emperor out again, and we're setting up for a 2,000 point battle report down here at 40k Gaming, and we're going to be running Eternal War. Sam's setting up his orcs on the other side of the board, and we'll take a look at them in a minute. But first, let's see what I've got in my list tonight. So, Scythes of the Emperor, running them as Ultramarine successors. So we've got the Ultramarine Tactical Doctrine benefits and the Ultramarine Chapter Tactics, that's the word I'm looking for. Got a battalion and a spearhead here, so let's see what we got. First up is my Warlord. He's my captain in Gravis armour. Standard loadout on him, obviously, because it's fixed with him. But for his relic, I've gone for the Voxa Spiritum again, to give him an extra 3-inch range on all his aura abilities. And that does include Chapter Master, which I will be upgrading him to. It says it affects all aura abilities except Psychic Powers and Chaplain Prayers. So yeah, we're going with Chapter Master for 2 CP on him. And for his Warlord trait, Adept of the Codex, to try and get back some of those CP that I'm spending on making him a Chapter Master. So every turn I can regain 1 CP by rolling a 5+ when I spend one. Next to him, Primaris Lieutenant, just a basic power sword and heavy bolt pistol on there. Then for my troops, I got 3 squads of intercessors. So this is 10 guys, Sergeant has a power sword, 5 guys and 10 guys. So no special. Hang on, the power sword's on this squad here. Sorry, not that one, but yeah. 3 squads, 2 of 10, 1 of 5, and 1 of the 10s has a power sword. And I've also got a 5-man scout squad. Just basic, no upgrades there, just to fill out the list. Then got my Repulsor again. Had a pretty good game last time out, so definitely keen to see how he gets on again today. And then a pair of Dreadnoughts, the Redemptor with the sort of standard DACA loadout with the Stormbolters, Onslaught Gatling, Heavy Onslaught Gatling, and the Missile Launcher. And then a fully DACA'd Redemptor Dreadnought, or fully anti-tank Venerable Dreadnought, sorry. So twin las cannons and the Missile Launcher on there. And then, bringing it back to my fast attacks, I've got 5 Inceptors. So I've got the Bolters on there, trying to make the most of just the sheer firepower that those twin weapons can bring. Not quite as good as aggressors, but I still need to go and buy my aggressors after this game. And then we have my spearhead, so leading that is a librarian. He's just a normal librarian, not Primaris. And for his psychic powers, I'll be running Telepathic Assault and Psychic Shackle. Then backing him up, I've got 2 squads of 5 Hellblasters. They'll probably ride in the Repulsor again, that seemed to work well last time. And then a Whirlwind. Haven't got this out for a while, but it's cheaper than my Devastators, and thought, you know what, give it a go, see how it does compared to what the Devastators didn't do for me in the last game. So yeah, that's 2,000 points of Space Marines, 9 CP, but I've spent 2 already. Let's go and have a look at the Orks. And here's Sams Badmoon Ork Horde. So this is the same size as my army, 2,000 points, but it must outnumber me close to 3 to 1 with the sheer number of boys he's got here. Similar list to you may have seen him run on the channel before, so we're looking at double battalion for all those CP. And starting it off, we have the War Boss, who is going to be the Warlord, and I believe he is going to have Follow Me Lads. So he gets an extra CP, as if Sam needed more CP in this list. Big Mech with the Custom Force Field in the Mega Armour. Weird Boy with the Jump. And a Big Mech, and he's going to be part of the Dread Mob, but the only thing benefiting from the Dread Mob, so he gets his souped up Shocker. Then for the 6 troops units, 3 units of Grots, and 3 units of Boys. Now, these Boys mobs have 30 guys each, all with shooters. We got a big shooter, in fact we've got 3 big shooters in 2 of them, and just 1 in there, and a Nob with a Power Claw. We've got a pair of Tankbuster mobs, 10 in each, both riding in trucks. And then a Pain Boy, not something I've seen Sam use for a long time, so interesting to see how he gets on. And then he's decided, rather than sticking with either looters or custom mega cannons, he's got both. So he's got 3 custom mega cannons and 10 looters for some serious anti-tank firepower there. So my repulsor and dreadnoughts are going to have to be careful. So yeah, pretty big army, starting off with I believe 14 CP, but spending 1 straight away. So yeah, let's go on to mission and deployment. Alright, so we're all rolled up and deployed now. We are playing Cut Off the Head. So there's one single objective in the middle that can only be scored by characters that have intel points. For me, it's very straightforward. I have 3 characters, so my 3 intel points are split evenly. For Sam, his intel points are on the 2 big mechs and also on the war boss. So those are going to be key characters for me to take out. Damn, I wish I had some eliminators right now. But anyway, we also, from the 3rd battle round onwards, score a point for every character with an intel point you have left on the board. So, having a look at the deployment, we're Dawn of War, and I won the roll-off to go first. Well, actually, lost the roll-off, which means I deploy first. So I've got the majority of my troops down here, so I've got all 3 intercessor squads clustered quite close together. Around my chapter master and lieutenant, librarian is over here off to the side, and there's my redemptor. The repulsor is shielded a bit behind this ruin. That's got the hellblasters in there, and scouts are just in there, and whirlwind off to the back, with the venerable further back because it has longer range weapons, but still keeping near my captain, chapter master. And thanks to the Vox Spiritum, basically everything apart from the scout squad, the whirlwind, should be close enough to benefit from. That dreadnought may not be right away, but it will be by the time the first movement phase is done. That's if I get first turn. I've also got my Inceptors in reserve. As you can see, the Green Horde has clustered mostly to the middle. We got boys to the front, boys to the side, boys to the rear. Screen of Grots at the front there, with a further Grot screen over there. Can't quite see where his 3rd Grot mob is. It's right behind the looters. I guess to screen them from Inceptors coming down. His trucks are positioned at either end of his battle line with the tank busters in there, and the cannons are there. Now, the way I'm looking at it at the moment, the cannons can see the dreadnoughts but not the repulsor, but I would expect the repulsor to have to move forward, so he'll probably still get line of sight on me there. Other key unit to watch for is the big mech with the shock attack gun, who is over there with the cannons, and obviously he's got his force field guy in the middle. So at the moment we've got first turn, and the way Sam is thumbing that dice, I think he wants to go first. So do you want to see his initiative? No, the Orks do not seize the initiative. So here we go with the Scythes of the Emperor first turn. So starting my turn with a slow and steady advance up the board. So moved up this squad here, who took advantage of the steady advance stratagem to counter stationary for the purposes of rapid firing their bolters. Also moved up the what's that thing called, repulsor, and this squad here, the dreadnought and the characters in support, stayed stationary with the other stuff to get better shooting with it. Psychic phase was largely uneventful. My librarian was only in range to cast telepathic assault on the Grots, which granted if it came off would have been rather handy, because Grots would die in droves to telepathic assault, but he failed, so meh, it happens. Shooting phase was a bit better, although still not quite the full potential of what these guys can do. The repulsor managed to take out the truck over on that flank with its las cannon and light up a bunch of boys in the middle there from this lead squad here. The Grots in front of them had previously been cleared off by this squad that stayed stationary. There were 2 left, but it wasn't worth Grot shielding when there's only 2 Grots there. So I took a chunk out of them, but the combination of the Big Mech and the Pain Boy was already starting to slow down the rate Orks were dying, and that was felt even more keenly when this squad here used the rapid fire stratagem. So they got 40 shots with steady advance and rapid fire, but only killed 7 Orks from the squad in the ruins there. So yeah, not great. Killed a few more with this squad here, and then the Redemptor Dreadnought took another few off, but really not the numbers that you would have expected for this level of Space Marines. Other than that, the las cannons from this dreadnought failed to do anything to that truck, and the frag missile I fired at the boys missed. Scouts were just out of range, but I'm trying to keep them safe, you know, don't just sacrifice them needlessly by running them out into the open. And the whirlwind fired at the battery of custom mega cannons there and did 2 wounds to one of them. A little bit underwhelming. But yeah, the story of the turn was really that Pain Boy and Big Mech combo just surviving the Orks so well. So yeah, got first strike, but didn't do much damage, and now the Orks are going to come back at me. Alright, so end of the Ork first turn, and all I can say is ouch, that was a nasty turn. So as you'd expect, the majority of the Ork force moved steadily forwards towards the objective, with his static firepower units hanging back. And then in the psychic phase, these guys were teleported down to here with da jump. They deployed very cleverly, actually, 9 inches out from the dreadnought and 12 inches or over 12 inches from the tacticals or the intercessors. So I couldn't do an all-spec scan on him. And then the shooting started. So first up, the tank busters put 6 wounds on the repulsor, which was then finished off by the 2 mechs. The mega armoured one did 6 damage with his custom mega blaster, and then the souped up shocker, despite a relatively low number of hits rolled, put another 6 wounds on it, plus would have been a couple of mortal wounds, and yeah, blew the thing to pieces. So yeah, I lost 1 hellblaster in the ensuing explosion as well. Then he went for the dreadnought, second tank buster mob, put some damage on that, and it was finished off by the custom mega cannons over there. Yeah, they finished that off. They tried to kill, or actually the first one finished it off, tried to kill some of the hellblasters and intercessors with what was left, but they missed. But you know, that's a huge amount of damage done there. And then the looters wiped out this whole squad here, which left these guys just plinking wounds off from this tactical squad here. Oh, and I lost a guy from this squad, as well as a wound, or 2 wounds and a wound on my characters from the explosion of the dreadnought. So really nasty turn. Also lost a couple of intercessors to the fire of the front ranks of those shooter boys. Absolutely brutal turn. So yeah, he's got first strike, so we are only 1-1. But I need to start killing some Orks here, and quick. Second turn started with the Inceptors dropping down into this building here. There are 5 in there, it's just kind of hard to see them on this board. Ready to threaten that flank of the Ork army. The rest of my army pulled in closer to cluster around the captain and lieutenant, so everybody who's around gets a bonus. And try and stay away from these guys, because I don't really want to get Dakka to death next turn. Scouts and whirlwinds stayed still. In the psychic phase, the librarian cast Psychic Shackle on that lead boys mob there, so they are at half movement now. And then he failed to cast Telepathic Onslaught again, which is a bit depressing really. He's failed that spell twice. I really want to try that out today. Shooting didn't go half bad. The Inceptors wiped out the tank busters that were there, because they are a real threat to Primaris Marines. And then the combined firepower of the 2 Hellblaster squads took out 2 of his custom mega cannons, so there's a lot less firepower coming my way from that side of the board. Still got this to deal with over here though. My dreadnought did manage to wreck the truck. The one surviving dreadnought, the Venerable, wrecked the truck, and 7 tank busters got out. 3 died in the ensuing explosion, so that's pretty good. But there really wasn't anything worth firing at the looters, because they're going to just be grot shielded at the moment, so need to focus hard on them next turn. Everything else went for these boys mobs in the middle. First mob I killed a few of, brought it down below half strength. That was this mob here. But I know what Sam's like. He will just respawn them with Unstoppable Green Tide. So as soon as they were below half, just focused on the other one, because any shooting at them would be wasted at this point. So all in all, not a terrible turn, and we are closing in on the objective. But there's still far too many Orks here for my liking, and those looters are worrying me. So brutal second turn from the Orks. Once again, the Marines are very much on the back foot here. So he obviously moved up that squad there, moved up his grots. Second squad behind came forward, so the looters are still screened. and this mob of orcs came forward here. Then Unstoppable Green Tide for the mob that was severely depleted there, bringing them back over there to threaten my Inceptors. Psychic Phase, he put Smite on the mob down here and killed 2 of them. And then, started shooting. So, first the Tank Busters killed 2 of the 4 from the Intercessor squad that were there. They were finished off by the Big Mech Shock Attack Gun. Then the Custom Mega Cannon and the boys there fired into the Inceptors, but only killed 1 between them. But then the Looters, oh those Looters, they put 5 wounds onto my Inceptors, but it's okay. We got 3+ save, we're in cover, we've still got, so even with the -1, we've still got 3+ save. And I rolled all 1s and 2s, lost all bar 1 member of the squad. The Sergeant is still in there, luckily did pass his leadership, but yeah, that in 1 roll just completely decimated that side of my army. Then in the assault phase, the boys got in here. I've just realised I haven't actually made my attacks back, so we'll do that in a minute, but he's been able to trap my Sergeant there, and I didn't fail any morale, so I won't be able to escape out of there. So that is really annoying, being trapped down in there. I can probably find a way around it, but it's going to mean that I can't target what I want to target next turn. So yeah, that is a massive pain. No points scored, but it's going to give me a real tough job to actually get where I need to be. So just going to roll off the remainder of the attacks there, and then we'll go into the second, third turn for the side. So still facing a bit of an uphill struggle here. With that unit trapped in the middle, it was very difficult for me to target what I wanted to target this turn. But I did manage to push these guys up and take out the last custom mega cannon with the Redemptor Dreadnought. Also killed the knob of the mob there. That was the Whirlwind that did that. Although I have to say the Whirlwind has woefully underperformed, as it always does, reminding me why I never take it. Every so often I take the Whirlwind just to be reminded why I never take a Whirlwind. Other than that, I put a few casualties onto the guys over there. I feel like, what did I shoot the Hellblasters? Oh yeah, it was the Hellblasters that shot them. So yeah, not the most efficient use of them, but couldn't shoot this mob that were in the fight here because they were engaged, and couldn't shoot them because they weren't the closest. So at least killed a few from up there. And then when the charge happened, obviously the combined weight of a captain, a lieutenant, 2 Hellblaster squads, and the remainders of the Intercessors just butchered the Orcs. And I've tried to screen a little bit with my Hellblasters there, but my captain could still be in peril, but he is now, I believe, close enough to that objective. Yeah. Oh, apparently he's not, I'm being told, so gonna have to find a way to change that. Maybe he'll just consolidate on there, or pile in or something if these guys try to come in. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But I'm certainly starting to claim the centre ground a bit now, although there are still far too many threats. I'm kind of feeling a little bit surrounded here. Okay, so Orc third turn, and I'm really feeling very surrounded right now. These guys pushed up, but weren't really in range to a huge amount. Tank Busters came forward. Grots pretty much stayed where they were from what, and I think they came up slightly into range. But what was interesting was his characters actually stepped back. I expected them to step up to try and get to the objective, but instead he's kept them back to preserve the characters, which may actually be a wiser decision in the long run. In terms of the psychic phase first, he killed the last Inceptor with his weird boy with a smite, so that was simple and brutal. And then started firing off all his shooters, killed, didn't do much damage here to be honest, initially. He was kind of, shots missing and pinging off, but then the looters wiped out that whole 5-man Hellblaster squad in a single volley. It wasn't even a particularly good volley with any buffs or anything, just wiped them out. They are so good looters, and I'm reminded why I painted 15 of them in my Evil Sun's army. These guys put 2 wounds onto the Intercessors, and that was about it for shooting. And the souped up shocker fired at my captain did 3 wounds that would have done a whole load of damage, would have probably killed him, but his iron halo protected in there, rolled 3 4s. The Emperor protects. Tank Busters attempted to charge into the Intercessor Sergeant, but failed the charge and lost one of their number for their troubles. So yeah, things certainly not going perfectly, and points wise I am falling behind, because this is when we start scoring for characters being alive. So with all 3 of his alive he gets 3 points, I only get 2. But we're going to the 4th turn with my guys at least on the objective, or near the objective, so we may still be able to scramble something from this. So this turn I continued to cluster my guys around the objective, and thought I might have a chance to kill off some of his characters, but I needed to remove a couple of intervening units first, the tank busters and the grots. So combined firepower from the whirlwind, scouts, intercessors and characters wiped out the grots and left the tank busters with a single guy left. So I had to waste my venerable dreadnought's entire salvo to kill a single tank buster. So 2 las cannons and a crack missile launcher to the face later, he was gone, which freed up my hellblasters to fire at his big mech. Unfortunately my dice were pretty poor, and even after rerolls I burnt 2 of my hellblasters to smithereens. I did manage to put 4 wounds on the mech. It was 6, but the pain boy saved him. Sam is definitely taking that pain boy again. This is a practice for a list he's looking to take to a tournament, and yeah, I think it's going to do rather well based on today. So yeah, I do manage to get my characters to the objective, but he's still going to be outscoring me on number of characters, and I've got to stay there till my turn to score that point, so this may not be happening anytime soon. So the Orks continue to tighten the noose this turn. This mob of boys moved up, these guys came up to screen his characters, and the grots came forward a little bit more to screen the looters more efficiently, and yeah, he opened fire. Psychic phase first, the weird boy put a single wound on the hellblasters, and then that mob finished off the hellblasters, these guys finished off the intercessors, which left my captain and lieutenant very exposed. The mech and the 2 mechs over there couldn't actually shoot them because the scouts were closer. The mech with a custom mega blaster went for the dreadnought but missed, and the shock attack gun went for these guys, got 5 shots, only 1 hit, and that failed to wound, so a little bit unfortunate there. And then the looters decided to go for the lieutenant rather than the captain, figuring he was an easier kill. Far too cunning, these orcs. That's not orky. You go for the big kill, you don't go for the easy kill. And yeah, he killed the lieutenant. Actually the rolls he had would have killed the captain, but you know, you live and learn. So end of the turn he scores 3 points for the 3 characters he's got left. I get another point for the captain being alive, and then at the start of my turn I'll score 1 point for him being on the objective. But yeah, we are not in a good spot right now, are we? 5th turn, and it is basically all over. But we're going to go down fighting. So moved my scouts up in front of my captain to screen him, brought the dreadnought up just to get him in the cover, so he now has a 2 up against most of Sam's light shooting. He's also screening the captain from these guys here. Shooting phase, scouts killed like 1 of the boys there. We got 10 hits but then only 2 wounds. Losing my lieutenant really did make a difference there. Dreadnought killed a looter, and that was about it. And the whirlwind, the whirlwind, got 4 shots. Missed with all of them. Paid a CP to have it fire again, got 3 shots. Missed with all of them. 7 consecutive shots from the whirlwind, and I missed with every single one of them. I didn't even get my CP back. That captain's reroll CP farming ability just has not worked. I think I've got it once out of 4 turns. Once out of 5 turns, yeah, so but I know it's a good ability. I know that's not, you know, a bad choice. It's just been my dice today. But yeah, here we go. Now time to see if the Orks can massacre these guys. As expected, it is game to the Orks. The shooter boys moved forward, killed off the scouts in just a hail of bullets, and then the big mech with a souped up shocker managed to get 10 shots at strength 10, and nothing, no iron halo, no CP rerolls, no bonus wound for Gravis armor was going to save my captain. He got blown to bits, took 8 hits, and I dare not count how many wounds that was in the end, but yeah, he's well dead. So that means that Sam is already in the lead on points, and I now have no way to score. So good game, mate. Well done. The Orks have avenged their loss last month against the Scythes of the Emperor, but I have a plan for the future. Aggressors. Been downstairs and bought these when we got here tonight, because I know I'm going to need probably 2 boxes of these. Going to start off with one fairly soon though. Anyway, I'll see you in a minute for a proper post game.
Alrighty, so a pretty convincing victory for the Orkz there, so well done Sam, you beat me fair and square. Certainly had some bad luck at some points in that battle. Some of my rolls were pretty dire, especially the armour saves for the Inceptors. The turn they got shot up by the looters when they were in cover and just couldn't roll anything higher than the 2 for a whole bunch of saves, so you know, can't do much about that, but I don't think it really changed the outcome too much. Sam definitely beat me fair and square there. We both tried to play the mission, which you always should do in 40k, particularly at the moment with the whole rule of even if you massacre your opponent, you still, you know, can win the points on mission, or they can still beat you on mission, as it were. But yeah, we tried to do it in different ways. I wanted to get to the objective and hold it and score points that way. Sam was happy just to preserve his characters, and I think it worked better for him. In hindsight, I should have held back and used the fact that actually we're probably a more resilient army with better shooting to like outshoot him and then just pick up points for characters rather than trying to rush forward onto the objective. Certainly something I will be bearing in mind. You know, the objective is only really worth a few points, and keeping your characters alive is more important. So yeah, definitely a lesson learnt there. And the other thing is, you know, this was his tried and tested, or for the most part, tried and tested Orc list against a Space Marine list that I'm still trying to get the most out of. You know, there's still units I really want to add, there's still units I really want to drop, whereas Sam's list has been pretty constant for a few months now. And yeah, it's clearly working well for him. He knows what he's doing with it, and he's doing well. And granted, I have picked up a win with my Scythes against his Orcs previously, but there was some luck involved in that. But yeah, the looters, them being alive made a big difference compared to our previous game. If you saw the other batrep we did, my Scythes of the Emperor are basically able to cut down his looters on the first turn before they get to shoot. This time he actually screened them properly, and yeah, that made all the difference. It meant there wasn't much point in shooting them because my grot shields, or his grot shields, were just going to save him anyway, so I shot other stuff, and yeah, it didn't happen. The looters were a real pain. So yeah, well played Sam, screening your looters properly saves you. As for my list though, see a couple of things that definitely need changing. That whirlwind has got to go. That does not do the job. I had it, but you know, never really use it, and when I do bring it out I remember why I don't really use it. Even with the fire twice stratagem, it's just not good. As you saw, obviously got my aggressors, definitely want to add them in, going for a squad of 5 probably coming out of the repulsor, so I'll have the bolt storm gauntlets on there, tactical doctrines, so they count as standing still and just light up the target. Interested in getting some eliminators as well. Obviously that mission was particularly character focused, but you know, being able to remove those annoying buff characters that are hidden at the back, you know, eliminators could be really handy. And now the model's actually out, definitely interested to try some of those out. What else? So yeah, the other thing I've learned that I might be trying to employ in my Space Marine list pretty soon is to do with the fact that you don't actually have to take Inheritors of the Primarch to be an Ultramarine successor. So previously me and a bunch of other people thought that, you know, if you wanted to run all the benefits from being an Ultramarine successor, you had to run Inheritors of the Primarch, so you have the Ultramarine tactical doctrines. But actually, rereading the rules and talking to a few players who are more experienced, particularly with extracting every ounce from the rules, you know, what you might call power gamers, turns out you can actually pick whichever 2 traits you like and just say you're an Ultramarine successor. Obviously you can't have then the Ultramarine characters, but I wouldn't be running them in Scythes of the Emperor anyway. And with the damage output that Ultramarines can do with some of their stratagems and the way the firing with tactical doctrine works, you really be good to get some more defensive stratagems on there to keep me alive longer. The most obvious one probably being stealthy, so I get counters in cover from shots coming from over 12 inches away, which could be really nice, especially as intercessors particularly outrange most things. They're quite happy to engage at 15 inches, whereas, a lot of other armies want to get within 12, so it can keep them at arm's length a bit, maybe even step back, because we're still counter standing still for the purposes of bolt fire. So, with Tactical Doctrine active, I could keep them at 30 inches away. Trying to justify that fluff-wise, I'm sure I can come up with something. A couple of others looked quite interesting. Stalwart, I think it was called, where you can never be wounded on a 1 or a 2, so that'll be helpful against strength 8 and higher weapons, but then those weapons will probably just be targeting my vehicles anyway, so probably wouldn't do as much as stealthy, but it's an interesting one to consider. And also long-range marksman, with the aggressors definitely coming into the force and them only having 18-inch range, extra 3 inches, actually that could make a bit of a difference, especially on a squad that can be mobile because of Ultramarine Tactical Doctrine benefits. So definitely some stuff to consider for adding into the army there. Both in terms of how I play it and what units. So I hope you found this interesting and enjoyed the batrep, and hopefully it won't be so long to the next one. Certainly got a lot of things I want to try out at the moment, with Phoenix Rising having just dropped, wanting to try out some of my Aspect Warriors and my Eldar again, Salamander book on the way. I'm spoiled for choice at the moment. I won't get to play all the games I want to play. I mean, you never get to play as much as you want, but with so much out at the moment, it's very exciting time, and it's just a case of what I can actually fit in. Let me know what you'd like to see me play with. Would you want to see more Scythes? Do you want to see the Eldar? Try out all the different aspects, because apart from the Crimson Hunter, I have every Aspect Warrior. So could try out all those new Exarch powers. Or, do you want to see the Salamanders and see, an army that perhaps isn't quite painted so well? It's an army I've had since 5th ed, but they've got some real firepower coming, and I mean firepower. But thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all again soon. Bye.